Luigi wants to open his own restaurant. However, he only has $75,250, and the cost of opening a restaurant is $250,000. How much money will Luigi need to borrow in order to open his own restaurant? So let us begin our strategy for problem solving. Again, the first step is to analyze a problem. So let's see how much information we can extract from this word problem. So the question we want to answer is, how much money will Luigi need to borrow in order to open his own restaurant? So now that we know what it is we want to find, we know what our variable is going to represent. So in this case, our variable, and we'll use the letter X, is going to be X will equal the amount of money Luigi will need to open his own restaurant. So now let's see what other information we can extract from the words given. So let's see, we know he only has $75,250. So that's the amount he currently has right now. He has $75,250. And we also know the cost of opening a restaurant is $250,000. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a number line to represent our current information. So let's see. Let me start off drawing a number line. Okay, and then I'll draw little tick marks here. So this one will be 0. And then we'll go by 25,000. Keep in mind that 25,000 is equal to 25K when abbreviated. So I'm going to be going by 25Ks just to, use smaller numbers. So here we go. It's going to be 25K, 50K, 75K, 100K, 125K, and then we'll make 150, 175, 200, 225K, and then 250K, and then we'll go up to 300K. So again, $25,000 is equal to 25K, so we have it marked as 25 on the number line. And then now let's actually see what we have. So what do we know? We know that the cost of opening a restaurant is $250,000. So we're going to go ahead and draw that on the scale. So we'll start off at 0, and it's going to go all the way up to 250,000, which on the number line is 250K. So that's right here. And that's 250K, which equals 250,000. And that's the amount of money that Luigi needs to raise in order to be able to open up his new restaurant. Where's he at right now, though? Currently, he only has $75,250. So start off at 0, and we'll go up to 75,000 and a little bit more. So that's where Luigi's at right now. He is at 75,000. $250. Which ideally is equal to 75.250K. Now the question is, how much more money will Luigi need to borrow in order to open his own restaurant? Well, that's going to be the difference between the two. So currently, he's at the 75.250K mark, and he needs to get all the way up to the 250K mark. So what he needs is all this stuff right here. And that's what we labeled to be our variable x. So let's go ahead and create an equation. The equation is going to be written in the form 250,000. That's the cost of opening a restaurant. And we're going to have to subtract from that the amount he already has. So the amount that he already has is 75,250. And that's going to be equal to the amount that he needs left, which is actually what our variable x represents. So that's going to go ahead and be our equation. So now let's go ahead and solve the equation. Again, when solving the equation, you want to start off with the original problem found in step 3. So it's going to be 250,000 minus 75,250, and that's going to be equal to our variable x. So now all we really have to do is subtract 75,250 from 250,000. So we'll do that off to the side as scratch work. So we'll have 250,000. We're going to subtract from that 75,250. So we'll go ahead and do 0 minus 0, which is 0. Then we're going to want to do 0 minus 5. We can't do that. So we have to come knocking from the 0 next door. We can't borrow anything from there, so we have to go borrow from the 1 next door. And we still can't borrow anything from there, so we're going to have to go all the way over to the 5. So this 5 is going to become a 4, allowing our 0 to become a 10. But now the 0 to the right of that, this one, had to borrow, so that's going to become a 9, enabling this one to become a 10. And the one that we originally wanted to borrow from was this 0 right above the 5, so we're going to have to borrow from the 10, that becomes a 9, and now our 0 becomes a 10. So now we have 10 minus 5, it's going to give us 5. We'll have 9 minus 2 gives us 7. Go ahead and bring the comma down for the placement holder. Then we'll have 9 minus 5, which gives us 4. And then a 24 minus a 7 gives us a 17. Therefore, since all we need to do was simplify the left-hand side of the equation, because the x is already isolated and by itself, we can go ahead and just bring that x down. And we know that the difference on the left-hand side is equal to $174,750. So now let us state our conclusion precisely and clearly. So now we have that Luigi will need to borrow $174,750 in order to open his own restaurant. So now the last step is to go ahead and check the result. So we'll go ahead and start with the original equation found in step 3. So 250,000 minus 75,250 is equal to x. However, now we know that x is equal to 174,750. So on the left hand side, all we need to do is simplify that, and we already shown that to be 174,750. So ideally we end up with the same thing on both hand sides of the equation. And since we do have a true statement, our solution is indeed correct.